TitleMatchNetwork.com.
I enjoyed working with Tully. That was when the Horsemen originally started.
Right.
There are a few fans out there. They say to me, "Yeah, and you're one of the original Horsemen," and I wasn't. I came in after. I believe that it was Ole Anderson, Arn, Tully, and Flair.
Right.
So we shot the deal to where we believe, Dusty and I and Crockett's, believe that I was to the position, that whereas the babyface, that if I turned on Dusty, then it would be the perfect time, to become a heel.
Right.
To where I had learned to work and the ability well enough to lead a match, for guys that, that didn't know, a turnbuckle from the turnbuckle post, So,
I think right before you turned, you were teaming with Lex, and you guys were feuding with Arn.
Yeah. So we fed into it. We fed into it where we did. It was Jacksonville, Florida, where we did that. Luger and I were partners against Tully and Arn, and we did the turn there. And then, of course, the connection with Dusty, because I'd been his partner in so many matches and stuff, and he was the booker. Then he was the next guy. Luger. I think the thing with Luger, just kind of, he took the fall, to where we pounded him, and I became one of the Horsemen. And what I believe it was Ole, that stepped aside, and he was more like a manager, if my memory serves me right. But so then, automatically went straight from that.
Were you nervous about being a heel?
You know what? No, actually, no, because to me, working as a heel, you have more control of the match. But it's not really that way anymore. But it used to be as a heel, you more or less, ran the match that you were in. You could call the spots if the other guy had an idea, you either okay or you could just shoot it down. That's the heels usually were the more experienced guys, and I thought it was right, and I thought that the thing with the Horsemen, would be good because we actually had some baby faces then, that I could work with, to change the tone of things because we were doing great business, but things kind of had a set pattern. So, you always shoot an angle or you do something to change it up. So that was kind of an out of the blue thing. So then turning on Luger and becoming one of the Horsemen, and then Dusty, like trying, what's happened to you? What's wrong with your mind?
Right.
And then turning on him, it really set the stage. So then there I went from wearing blue jeans and boots, to nice suits, and, and geez, I remember Flair taking me to a shoe store and I bought $1,000 pair of shoes that I still got them in the closet. but as a Horseman, I'm wearing these slippers, and I'm more comfortable in boots and stuff. But there I was, in the suit and tie, and the $1,000 shoes. But I became one of the Horsemen, and I really thought that the time was right to be a heel. And I still want to work as a heel, but the business turned to where you can work any way you want anyway. We didn't send any spots over or anything. We just went out there and we had fun. But Dusty, immediately, I started working with Dusty, because of, the connection that had been established, on the television programming. Right. But he always beat me. So that was, I would say to him, I'd say, Dust, I always shoot ideas off each other. I said, I got to beat you up sometime,
Going back to 1988, what were your thoughts when Arn and Tully left to go to WWF, and were you ever contacted to go with them?
I think it was just another one of those deals where an idea or an angle or something had run its course, and egos get in the way of a lot of things. And something that I've learned, from this business is that, pride is a hard thing to swallow, and you got to do it sometimes. Pride, you got to do what's right, and your pride and I don't know if pride and ego, mean the same thing, but they just they can get in the way of a lot of things. And I believe that when they left and went to New York, that they just thought that they had a better deal, and I don't think that it panned out for them the way that it planned. That was just one of those moves in the wrestling business, that it didn't become everything that it was planned to be, I think.
What was the locker room's reaction though? Did they think that something bad was really going on with the company they're in because these guys just left like that? And why did Ron Garvin leave at that time too? Because he just turned heel on Dusty, and then I think they maybe had like 2 house show matches, and then he left. Were the people getting concerned?
I'm trying to recall exactly what that period was, because I think that the peak of the business with Crockett, had kind of run its course, and I still think that's the same period. That's when, if I'm not mistaken, and y'all may know better than I do, that was when Turner, or they were in the process of making the deal,
moving to Dallas.
Yeah. The business was, it has its highs and lows, and it's always been that way. I mean, I've been through, I've seen, growing up in the business, I've seen 4 decades, of wrestling. So, it has its highs and its lows, and it's like a fad or a fashion. It has its times, and then sometimes people get tired of it. And it had kind of run its course. The houses were dropping, and Crockett was in debt. So the guys weren't making the money, that they were used to making. So they were going, where they could, and they were just trying to make changes. That was about the time that guys started getting guaranteed contracts. So I believe, now going back to the question about Arn and Tully, I think that they were a little bit, where I was saying where ego can get in the way. I don't think that they got offered a contract yet, because Crockett spent so much time trying to get the Road Warriors to sign a contract that there was a little tension in the dressing room, because everybody was tentative about, it's in the wrestling business, don't believe everything you hear and half of what you see, because, it's a work. So here are these contracts starting to become guaranteed to guys, and they're 6-digit, contracts. We were used to making, if you had $150,000 a year, that was kind of wasn't too happening. It wasn't too hot then. So I believe that Crockett offered the Road Warriors, and Mike and Joey, if you guys see this, I just, it's your personal business, but this is kind of on the line. But I think Crockett offered them, like $500,000 each, to stay. And once that number got out, to some of the other guys, it was like, where's this money coming from, and how is this happening? So it was that was when the real curve came on the business with these guaranteed contracts. And then that's when agents and, attorneys and stuff started getting into the business, and it's a big change. I mean, it's changed the business so much to right now where we're at in wrestling.
TitleMatchNetwork.com